Greg Copeland. I'm running for the state senate. Don't want to get in front of those speakers, do I? Just in my nature to want to get close to the people. In 1992, my wife and I came from a warm weather climate to Minnesota, like you. Came to Minnesota for opportunity, for education, and for healthcare for my wife. And you, folks, have come here for opportunity. I know that because I live right off of Payne Avenue in St. Paul. And for the 20 years that I've lived there, I've seen the enterprise that you exhibit every day. I've seen you grab the opportunities that this country has for new citizens, for its new residents. And there was a comment made earlier that perhaps Hmong have many things to learn. Well, I think you've learned so much so well. And let me tell you a couple examples from my perspective that you've brought to bear on solving some problems that we had before, and I say we, white majority citizens here, had long before the Hmong came to Minnesota, or before I happened to come to Minnesota. And then it's with education. The Hmong people, unlike many others that have come, understood very early the importance of education. Forming the charter schools, the many charter schools that they took in their own hands to create out of nothing. Out of nothing because the public school system failed them in St. Paul, as it has unfortunately continued to do for 20 years that I've been here. For 20 years I've heard politicians in the other party make promises about what they were going to do to close the achievement gap. Have you heard of the achievement gap? Well, your folks who created those schools, some of you here today, perhaps. Any of you on a board of a charter school? Raise your hands. No? But you didn't wait around for the government to fix the problem. You fixed the problem. And you're doing the same thing when it comes to jobs. Every politician in every party this year is promising to create jobs. And as the other speakers in this party know, there is no government that's going to create jobs. People who take risks create jobs. People who understand that they see an opportunity to serve others create jobs for other people. And that's the opportunity that the Hmong community has seen with all the businesses that you've started. Where would University Avenue have been without the Hmong people? Where? And I would say to you tonight, District 66, which I hope to represent after the election on November 2nd, is that area of the city that runs north of University up to Larpenteur and over into Falcon Heights and runs over to Arcade on the east side. And that's the area along University that all the politicians are making lots of promises about. And I'm not using that word politicians to refer to anybody who's in this room. You know who they are. The people that show up at press conferences in front of stores on University Avenue to tell you, oh, we're going to give you $1 million because we know that you don't have any parking now in front of your businesses on University because what? The city said it's okay to take all the parking away to put a train in for $1 billion. And so what they hold a press conference about when they tell you that they're going to give you $1 million, you know better. You know they're not giving you anything. They're going to give you a loan of up to $10,000. Here you've invested your money in a business. You're losing customers because they're going to tear up the road, take away your parking, not just during construction, but forever. And what are they giving you? More debt. That's what the politicians in the other party want to give you. More debt. That's no present. If I were you, tonight ought to be the beginning of a new partnership between the Republican Party and the Hmong people of Minnesota. Because the Republican Party offers you something that the other party will never, unfortunately, offer, probably in our lifetimes. And that is something more precious than a job and more precious than an education. It's life itself. The Republican Party in this state has stood to protect innocent life, the unborn. And when life comes into our hands, we're going to protect it. And when Michael talked about the health problems that we have, I was thinking about what the health department has been spending its time on in St. Paul. What have they been doing? It's been in the paper this week. Well, I was going to reach in my pocket for the name of the business, but you all know about the restaurant on University that was closed with much fanfare and with little public hearing. You know, and I was a customer of that restaurant many times. And somebody tonight kidded me, well, it's a good thing you're still here, Greg. The way the restaurant was portrayed in the paper. But you know what? My wife was a restaurant inspector. And she told me, you know, if somebody wants to put somebody out of business with an inspection, they can. And I think government can be a bully. We have a legislative session coming up where the other party wants to talk about bullying in the schools. What about the bullies that are running inspections services that put people out of business, that take away not only the livelihood of the gentleman and his family that invested in that restaurant, but 30 other people that have jobs? The government doesn't care. Well, that's why we need a new government. Because even if that man was having problems, let's figure out a way to help him. He was a very popular place to go. He actually served more people, I think, with his takeaway business than he did in the restaurant. And now there's a padlock, thanks to Mayor Coleman and the City Council. That is not good. We have to help people do a good job. And if the man needed some help, you know, let's give it to him. We're not there to shut businesses down. And I think that's my point to you tonight. Is the Republican Party doesn't come at problems with a meat axe or with artificial promises of money, which are just yet. We want to make a partnership where we sit down at the table, and as other candidates tonight, as Andy Noble said, they want to listen to what the problems are. And if we can close down businesses, we ought to be able to give kids inoculations. We ought to be able to take care of the diseases in the community that you referred to. And I don't know, do you have a master's in public health? You went on at some length with that, Michael. Okay, I thought maybe you must have had one in public health as well, because, you know, there's an opening at the county for a new director of the health department. Michael, you should go down there and apply for that job. Thank you very much, folks. I appreciate your support on November 2nd. Greg Copeland.